Okay, so today I'm going to show you my little recipe for painting white markings. So you're going to need a few different things. I've got this little bottle here, it's empty. This is what I prefer to use. I bought them on Amazon. You get like 30 of them for probably $11. And then I have this water here, so it's just water. I've got some golden fluid burnt sienna, some Liquitex acrylic medium gesso. I think that's how you say that. And then Liquitex Basics Titanium White. So this is my favorite white to use for white markings. I've tried some others, the Golden Fluid and stuff, and this is what I prefer. This comes out super thick normally. I have actually watered this one down because I was getting low on it and I need to buy more. But normally it is super, super thick. So this has actually been watered down a little. Actually quite a lot. So what I do is I just pour my paints into here, and I go for about a 50-50 ratio, so 50% of the Liquitex Basics, which, because it's watered down, I'm actually going to use a little bit more, so... and then I've got my gesso here, so I'm just going to... Okay, so that looks like plenty of that. You want to be super careful adding the burnt sienna. So you only want like a tiny, tiny little drop because this stuff is super strong pigment-wise. If you feel comfortable, I mean, you can do that. However, there's plenty of paint here in the cap. I've got, let's see, I'm going to grab a little paintbrush here. So I'm just going to grab this paintbrush and use the end of it. And again, like I said, just a little dot is going to go a long ways. So I probably don't even need that much, but I just dab my little brush in there. That is going to be plenty to give this a little bit of a tint. I just don't want it to be stark white. You know, white markings are never just stark white. So let's see if I can just kind of mix this in here. I'm not going crazy, just kind of mixed it in a little. Now I've got water, so this mixture likely is going to be way too thick. And adding the water is kind of all just, for me, is an experiment. Each time's a little different, so I'm just going to add what I think I'm going to need. I can see my line here of paint, so, and usually you do have to add a decent amount, so I added quite a bit of water there. And now I'm going to shake this up, and shaking it is going to help. You can see that little bit of burnt sienna on the side there. It's going to just mix everything in really nice. Okay, so you can see that burnt sienna mixed in with the rest of the paint. And sometimes I'll add a little drop of like a pearlescent color. So I have this gold interference, and I'm actually just going to add a little drop of this as well. You don't need to add this. For me, this is just kind of an extra little pigment. And again, I'm just going to, all you need is like a little drop, just like that. One little tiny drop. And back to shaking and mixing. Okay, so there we have our white paint, and I think just looking at that, it looks pretty good. So that is what I'm going to use. I can see, you know, it moves around in there pretty well. It looks like it flows pretty good. So the next step is to try it out on a model horse. I have a cup of water here. I have my newly mixed white mix. And I've got a little piece of tin foil. These work great as just little disposable palettes if you need them. So I put a little bit of my white here. And I've got this paintbrush. This one has fairly long bristles, and it's got a really nice point to it. And the bristles are really soft, so I find this works really well to smooth the paint. It's just a kind of a cheap paintbrush that I got on Amazon. Okay, so I'm just going to start doing light brush strokes. So this model already has one coat of white already, and I'm just kind of building up on that. So I paint my white layers in many, many light layers just like this. So I will go over this probably 6 or 7 more times before this is opaque enough. You want to do really slow layers, gradually building up the color. This is how you get really thin white markings that don't look too bulky and don't have any other sort of issues like brush strokes. Okay, so what to do if you mess up. So here's my model. And say I put a white marking right here and I don't want that. Okay, so the best thing you can do is take a Q-tip and you're going to want to dip it into some rubbing alcohol. So it now has a little bit of alcohol in it, and all I'm going to do is gently wipe that away. So very gently wipe that away. Now, a couple things to know about this is a lot of times it will kind of make your clear coat a little hazy, so you might see a little bit of gray there. That will clean up when you re-clear coat your model. So when you re-clear coat the model, that haziness that you get from the rubbing alcohol will completely disappear. And this is something you only want to do if your model has a very good clear coat layer on it. You want to make sure your model has at least like 1 to 2 layers of clear coat, and the clear coat needs to have cured for over 24 hours for this to work. Otherwise, you're just going to be pulling off your paint off your model. So it's not only going to take the white marking off, it's also going to take off the base coat paint that you did if you do not properly clear coat it. Just so you know, fair warning. But I just thought I'd show that. And yeah, so here is our white markings right now, and we're actually ready for another layer. So you can see they're still kind of patchy and splotchy. It's not looking so great, but when we add that third layer of white, so this is the third layer now, it's actually starting to look much more opaque. And this isn't a great example of how I paint. I usually don't hold my model like this. It's usually not this far away from me. Just trying to hold it so that the camera can see it. And that's what painting whites is all about. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something. and let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see in future videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.